Yo, what's good, guys? It's Austin here, or Luna. So today's story time, in my opinion, is a pretty crazy one. Hope you guys enjoy it. Leave a like on the video if you do enjoy it, and let's jump right into it. So today's story time's topic is clout chasers, okay? This is about the biggest clout chaser I've ever met in my entire life, and yeah, I hope you enjoy it. So the story time takes place back in 2017, okay? The story time starts off as a very normal day, like every other story time on my channel does. I was laying in bed, just on my phone, nice summer day, 2017, and one of my friends hits me up, and he's like, yo, Austin, I want to chill, let's hang out, come through. So without question, I'm like, yeah, for sure, like, let's kick it. So I go to my friend's house, I arrive to his house, really nothing was going on, honestly. We were kind of sitting in his basement playing Xbox, we weren't really doing a whole lot. And then he invites over this other friend of his, and I'd never met this friend before, and this friend brought his girlfriend, okay? So these two people that I'd never met before in my entire life were on their way to my friend's house, and I can't lie, I was a little bit nervous, okay? Because meeting somebody for the first time can sometimes be awkward for me. Like, once I know somebody, I'm pretty much fine, but, meeting people for the first time can sometimes be a little bit awkward. So yeah, I'm just sitting there thinking, and I asked my friend, I'm like, yo, are these people chill? He's like, yeah, man, they're super chill, like, you'll love them. I'm like, cool, how do you know him? And he goes on to explain that he met them at his school, and that they're both really nice people, they're super down to earth, that I would just completely love them. He just kept hyping them up. He was like, yo, bro, like, you're gonna love them so much, like, you know me, like, I don't pick people that are bad, like, they're awesome. So, I took his word for it. I thought, my friend is really good at picking his friends, like, he's never steered me in the wrong direction before, he's a good dude, I'm sure he's telling the truth about these people, like, whatever, right? So fast forward to these two getting to his house, they walk in, and immediately, like, first thing I hear, this dude walks in and goes, alright, so who's the famous YouTuber? And I'm just thinking to myself, like, okay, so this is how it's gonna go. And immediately I start, like, awkwardly laughing after he says that, and my friend starts awkwardly laughing as well. I don't think he expected him to say that. And he goes, yeah, man, like, your boy told me all about you, bro, like, your name's Austin, right? And I'm like, yeah, man, my name's Austin. He's like, yeah, I heard you, like, do YouTube and stuff. You a YouTuber? I'm like, yeah, I'm a YouTuber. And he's like, cool, like, how many followers you got? And I'm like, over 1 million. And he's like, holy shit, that's a crazy amount. And I'm like, yeah, man, it is really crazy. Like, I'm super lucky for this. And he's like, yeah, bro, like, so how much you charge for a shout out? Like, this is the first thing this dude's saying to me. I'm like, I don't know, man, I don't really do stuff like that. He's like, all right, but, like, if you were to do something like that, like, how much would you charge? I'm like, bro, I don't do shout outs like that, so nothing right now, sorry. He's like, all right, I won't bother you anymore about it. I won't bother you. Like, you're all good, bro. I'm like, all right, thanks, dude. And then his girlfriend chimes in. She's like, oh, so you got, like, an Instagram and stuff? I'm like, yeah, I do. She's like, so how many followers you got? And at the time, I didn't even know how much I had. I was like, I'm not too sure, but I think over 100,000. She's like, holy shit, like, I only got 1,000 on my gram. Could you follow me? And once again, I'm thinking to myself, like, yo, this is the first thing these people are saying to me. So without hesitation, I just say, yeah, I'll follow you. Because I didn't want to say no and then start a problem with, like, this dude and his girlfriend. Like, I didn't want to deal with that. So I was like, yeah, I'll follow you. What's your IG? And then, of course, her boyfriend chimes in. He's like, yeah, man, follow me too. And I'm like, all right, I'll follow you too. What's your guys' Instagrams? And they tell me their Instagrams, I look them up, I follow them, they say thank you, and then my friend tells them, he's like, guys, like, Austin doesn't want to constantly talk about his social media, like, drop it, don't ask him for anything else, like, leave him alone. And they're like, all right, we will. And they leave it at that, right? They stop asking me about what I do, they stop asking for favors, and they completely drop everything and just go to hanging out with us. And when they weren't asking me a million questions, they were actually really chill people. I could see why my friend thought they were super chill. But sadly, you never really know how someone's gonna act when they're in a room with someone with over 1 million followers, you know what I mean? Like, some people are really chill about it and just are kind of like, okay, that's cool. And other people are like, yo, you got followers? Like, what is that like? Do you do shout outs? Can I get a shout out? Like, shit like that. Now, I wish I could say the story ends here and that was the worst of it, but holy shit, does it get a whole lot worse. Like, so much worse than what you could even possibly think, okay? So stick around for this part. So fast forward like 30 minutes, I'm just sitting on the couch playing on my friend's Xbox. We're all just having a conversation about another friend of ours that we all mutually know. And I start getting super tired, like really exhausted. I pulled an all-nighter the night before, so I was just exhausted. And my friend could see it in my face. And he was like, yo, you look so tired, bro. Like, go lay down in the spare room. I'm like, you sure? He's like, yeah, man, like, for sure. There's clean sheets. Like, go sleep in it. I'm like, all right, dude. So I stand up, I set the controller down, I wave goodbye to the 2 friends that he invited over, and I tell them it was nice meeting them and have a good night, and they say the same, and I turn around and I walk into my friend's downstairs spare bedroom, and I lay down on the bed and put my phone down next to me on the table, and I just lay down in that bed and kind of think about how relaxing this is, like no one's bothering me, I'm laying in bed, I'm super tired, and after just laying in that bed for like 5 minutes thinking to myself, I end up falling asleep. And I wake up about 20 minutes later to the sound of voices. It's a pitch black room and I'm waking up to the sound of voices right next to my ear whispering. 2 voices to be specific. One sounds like a guy's voice, one sounds like a girl's. And I quickly jump out of bed and run over to the light switch and flick the light on because I'm so terrified. Like I'm waking up in somebody else's room in the pitch black, hearing 2 voices that I've never heard before. Like that's just so scary. So yeah, I jump out of bed, I run over to the light switch, I turn them on, and immediately I see these 2 people standing in the corner of the room holding my phone. It's the dude and his girlfriend that I just met on this night. And I'm like, yo, what are you guys doing? And he's like, oh bro, like my bad, like I just kind of snuck in here real quick. I was just trying to see something. I'm like, what are you trying to see, bro? I'm sleeping in here. He's like, yeah, man, like my bad, like we'll leave. And he starts to walk out. And I'm like, no. And I block the door. I'm like, yo, what are you guys doing in here? Like, why are you whispering next to my head like that? What are you doing? And right as I say that, I hear a knock on the door and I turn around and I open it. And it's my actual friend standing there. And he's like, yo, what are you guys doing in here? Like, what are you doing in Austin? And my friend has a bowl of popcorn in his hand, meaning he probably went upstairs to make popcorn, and these 2 stayed in the basement and decided to mess with me. So once again, I ask them, I'm like, yo, why are you guys down here while I'm trying to sleep with all the lights off, whispering next to my bed? Like, what are you guys doing in here? And then I remember that one of them's holding my phone, and I'm like, and also, why do you have my phone in your hand? And the girl steps up, and she's like, look, I'm sorry. I was giving myself a shout out on your Instagram. And I'm like completely shocked by this. Do you know how clout hungry you have to be to sneak into somebody's room while they're asleep with the lights off and steal their phone from next to them and try and log on to it to then give yourself a shout out on IG? Like, how desperate for followers can you possibly be? So that's exactly what I told her. I was like, how clout hungry do you have to be to try and steal my phone in the middle of the night and give yourself a shout out? Like, what? And the dude steps up. He's like, yo, don't talk to my girl like that, bro. I'm like, dude, fuck you and your girlfriend. Like, you both just came in here while I'm asleep in the middle of the night to try and take my phone and give yourselves shout outs. Like, you're involved too, bro. Like, you and your girl. And he's like, yeah, well, we know it's wrong. We're saying sorry, so accept it or don't. I'm like, I don't accept it. Get out of here. And my friend steps up. He's like, yo, get the fuck out of my house. And immediately they just do the walk of shame out of the room, walk out of the basement and leave. And immediately my friend starts apologizing. He's like, yo, I didn't know they'd act like that. Like, I did not expect that. They never act like this. This is crazy. Like, I'm never hanging out with them again, bro. I'm so sorry. And I'm like, it's all good, man. You didn't know. It's fine. So yeah, pretty much that's where that ended. I didn't hang out with those 2 people ever again. I did hang out with my friend, however. He didn't really understand that they'd act like that, so I don't fault him for that. But yeah, moral of this story is don't act like that couple did. But yeah, guys, that's pretty much the end of the story time. I thought this was a pretty crazy one. I hope you guys did as well. If you did enjoy the story time, please leave a like on the video. I'd really appreciate it. Feel free to leave your story times in the comments down below, and subscribe if you're new. I'll see you all later. Peace.